Hey everyone, and welcome back to SoftSkills Speak, Unlock Your Communication Potential. I'm so glad you're here. In our last video, we talked all about making an amazing first impression with your nonverbal cues. But once you've smiled, made eye contact, and stood tall, what happens next? Have you ever walked into a room, a party, a networking event, even a family gathering, and felt that familiar knot in your stomach? You see people chatting, laughing, connecting, and you desperately want to join in, but your mind just goes blank. How do you even approach someone you don't know? What on earth do you say after hello? What if the conversation dies after 5 seconds and it gets awkward? What if they're busy or don't want to talk to you? These are all common fears, and if you have ever felt them, you are absolutely not alone. In fact, knowing how to confidently start a conversation is one of the most powerful soft skills you can develop. It opens doors, builds relationships, and helps you navigate virtually every aspect of life with more ease. But how do we bridge that intimidating gap between wanting to connect and actually doing it? Well, let me tell you a story. I remember attending a large professional conference a few years ago. It was packed with experts and potential collaborators, and I was excited, but also pretty nervous. My goal was to meet at least 3 new people. On the first day, I mostly just grabbed my coffee and found an empty seat, listening to the talks. But during a break, I saw someone standing alone near a poster display, looking at their phone. My heart started to race. This was my chance, but my mind was blank. I took a deep breath, reminded myself of what we discussed, about posture and eye contact, the non-verbal stuff from our last video, and I slowly walked towards them. My first instinct was to just say, "Hi, how are you?" But I knew that could lead to a quick "fine, you?" and then silence. The dreaded awkward silence. So, I thought, what could I observe about my surroundings or the person? I noticed they were wearing a lanyard, just like mine, so they were obviously part of the conference. And they were standing next to a poster about AI in education, which was one of the conference themes. This brings us to our first key activity, the art of observation. Before you even open your mouth, take a quick scan. What's around you? What's relevant to the situation? The environment? Is there a unique piece of art? Interesting architecture? A long queue? Wow, this line for coffee is something, isn't it? The situation. Are you at a wedding? A workshop? A sports event? That was a really insightful talk on sustainability, wasn't it? The person, appropriately, what are they holding? What are they wearing, if relevant to the context, like a band t-shirt or conference badge? I love your bag or t-shirt or pin, is that from X place or event? Be genuine, not creepy. So, back to my conference story. I decided to comment on the poster. I walked up, stood with open body language, remember our nonverbal lesson, and said, "Hi there. I'm really intrigued by this poster on AI in education. Have you had a chance to read much of it?" And just like that, the ice was broken. They replied, "Oh, yes, I actually helped with some of the research for it." Bingo. Immediately, we had a connection point. This leads us to our second activity, the open-ended question. Once you've made your observation or comment, follow it up with a question that can't be answered with a simple yes or no. Instead of "Did you like the talk?" ask "What were your key takeaways from the talk?" Instead of "Is this your first time here?" ask "What brings you to this event today?" Instead of "Are you busy?" ask "What are you working on these days?" This encourages the other person to share more, giving you more hooks for the conversation to continue. My new contact at the conference then explained their role in the AI research, and I shared my background in soft skills training. The conversation flowed naturally for about 10 minutes, and we even exchanged contact information. It was a small victory, but it felt huge. So, let's circle back to those initial questions we had. How do you even approach someone you don't know? You approach with confident nonverbal cues like smile, eye contact, open posture, and a genuine, relevant observation about the situation or shared environment. What on earth do you say after hello? You follow up your observation with an open-ended question that invites them to share more. Like, "What do you think about? How are you finding? What brings you to?" What if the conversation dies after 5 seconds and it gets awkward? This is less likely if you use open-ended questions. And if it does, it's okay. It's not a reflection on you. You can either ask another open-ended question based on something they just said, or gracefully exit. Remember, not every conversation needs to be a deep, lifelong connection. It's okay for a brief, polite exchange. What if they're busy or don't want to talk to you? You will often know within those first 7 seconds, just like we discussed with first impressions. If they give very short answers, avoid eye contact, or turn their body away, simply say, "Well, it was nice chatting with you," and politely excuse yourself. Respecting their space is also a powerful soft skill. Don't take it personally, it's rarely about you. Starting conversations might feel intimidating at first, but it's a skill, just like anything else. It gets easier with practice. Remember that conference story? That first successful interaction made me feel much more confident for the next one, and the one after that. Your challenge this week is to try starting just one conversation using the observation plus open-ended question method. It could be with a classmate, a colleague, or a new neighbor. Just one. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if you're serious about mastering your communication, be sure to subscribe to SoftSkills Speak for more practical tips every week. I would love to hear about your experience with starting conversations. What's your biggest challenge, or what's a tip that has worked for you? Share in the comments below. Next time, we'll dive into how to keep conversations flowing and avoid awkward silences. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on SoftSkills Speak.